Clara Reynolds had never been known for her patience. As the CEO of one of the fastest-growing tech companies in the city, she ran her office like a well-oiled machine. Every minute mattered. Every email, every meeting, every phone call was scheduled down to the second. Her team often joked that she must have a clock hidden under her desk that dictated every move she made. But despite her strict nature, Clara had earned respect. People admired her for her sharp mind, her ability to make tough decisions, and her determination to take the company to new heights. It was a Tuesday morning, bright and clear, and the office was buzzing with activity. Clara was in her office reviewing reports and preparing for a critical meeting with investors. She barely had time to breathe, and the idea of interruptions made her tighten her grip on her pen. The phone on her desk rang constantly. Emails piled up and assistants knocked at the door for quick clarifications. Clara's focus was razor sharp, and nothing was allowed to break it until two small figures appeared at the doorway. The girls were identical in every way, same height, same brown hair tied into neat ponytails, same bright, curious eyes. They wore matching dresses and held hands nervously. Clara frowned as she looked up from her reports. It wasn't unusual for people to come to her office unannounced, but visitors were usually adults representing clients, partners, or occasionally a determined employee. These two young girls were not on any schedule, and their tiny, hesitant voices cut through the hum of the office. "Excuse me, ma'am," one of them said softly, her voice barely above a whisper. "We were told to give this to you." She extended a small envelope with both hands. Her twin nodded silently, clutching her own envelope tightly against her chest. Clara blinked, momentarily stunned. She leaned back in her chair, trying to make sense of the situation. The receptionist, standing behind the girls, looked equally confused. Clara, they just showed up. I'm not sure who they are," she said quietly. The girls glanced at each other, and it was clear they had rehearsed their steps. One of them took a small breath and spoke again. "Our mom told us to deliver this to you. She said it's very important." Clara's initial irritation flared. Interruptions were not welcome, especially when she had pressing matters to attend to. But something about their earnest faces made it difficult to dismiss them outright. Their eyes were wide, filled with a mixture of nervousness and determination, and there was an honesty there that was impossible to ignore. Clara motioned for them to come closer, curious despite herself. The girls stepped forward slowly, holding out the envelope with care. Clara took it, noting the delicate handwriting on the front. It wasn't printed or typed. It was written in careful, rounded letters, likely by someone who had spent a long time on each word. She opened the envelope and found a neatly folded letter inside. Her eyes scanned the words, and she began to understand why the girls had taken the effort to come all the way to her office. The letter explained a story of hardship. Their mother, a hardworking woman who had once been part of Clara's company, had faced a string of unfortunate events. She had lost her job unexpectedly and was struggling to support her family. She had written to Clara, hoping for some assistance, but had feared her message might be ignored or lost in the shuffle of emails and formal letters. That was why she had asked her daughters to deliver the letter personally. Clara looked up from the letter, meeting the girls' anxious gazes. They were waiting for a response, for some indication that what they had done mattered. The younger one fidgeted slightly, glancing around the office as if searching for an escape route if things went wrong. Clara's strict demeanor softened as she considered the courage it must have taken for two small children to walk into the office of a CEO they barely knew. She motioned for them to sit on the chairs in front of her desk. They perched carefully, their legs swinging slightly, and waited silently. Clara could feel the tension in the room. Her office was usually a place of authority and control, but today it felt fragile, almost delicate. With these two young lives waiting for her judgment, "Can you tell me a little about your mom?" Clara asked, keeping her tone gentle. The girls exchanged a quick glance, and then one of them spoke. She used to work here, ma'am. She says she learned so much from you. She says you're kind and fair. She didn't know where else to go." Clara's heart tightened. She had always tried to be fair, but she had never considered the real human impact her actions might have had on someone's life. The girls continued, their voices quiet but steady, explaining small details about their mother's daily struggles, how she worked multiple jobs, how she had to skip meals to make sure they had food, how she stayed up late at night worrying about bills. Clara listened, struck by the resilience and bravery of this small family. There was something about the girl's presence that made Clara pause and reflect. Here were two young children, showing more courage than most adults she dealt with in her corporate life. They had walked into an unfamiliar place, approached a powerful stranger, and faced the unknown, all for the sake of their mother. It was a reminder that courage didn't always come from big actions or grand gestures. Sometimes it was in the quiet, determined steps of a child. Clara leaned back in her chair and studied them closely. She could see the worry etched on their small faces, the effort they had put into delivering the letter personally. She realized that their mother must have spoken about her in glowing terms to inspire such bravery. It was a moment that softened her strict edges, a reminder that life was about more than meetings, numbers, and deadlines. The girls, sensing a change in her demeanor, looked hopeful. Their eyes, bright and innocent, reflected a trust that Clara hadn't encountered in years. They wanted to believe that the world could still be fair, that someone in a position of power could truly make a difference in their lives. And for the first time that morning, Clara felt a sense of responsibility that went beyond her role as a CEO. She placed the letter down on her desk and looked at them directly. "You both did the right thing coming here," she said, her voice soft but firm. "It took courage to walk in alone, and I want you to know that I hear you. I hear your mother, and I will do my best to help." The girls' faces lit up with relief and excitement, a mixture of hope and disbelief. Clara smiled slightly, realizing that this moment was already shaping up to be more important than any meeting or report on her schedule. It was a reminder of what truly mattered: helping people, making a real difference, and acknowledging the bravery and honesty of those who sought her out. The receptionist peeked in, still unsure of how to proceed, but Clara waved her off. This was not a moment for procedure or rules. This was a moment for humanity. The office, which usually felt cold and mechanical, seemed warmer somehow, as if the presence of these two small visitors had brought life and purpose into the space. Clara took a deep breath and decided to ask them more about their mother, about her life, her struggles, and her dreams. The girls eagerly shared small details, their voices growing steadier as they realized that Clara was genuinely listening. They spoke of the mother's kindness, her determination, and how she had always tried to make life better for them despite everything. Clara was struck by the love and devotion woven into their words. As the conversation continued, Clara felt a shift within herself. She knew she couldn't promise miracles, but she could promise attention, care, and immediate action where possible. She made mental notes to speak with her team, to find out how she could help, and to ensure that the courage shown by these two girls would not be in vain. By the time the girls left her office that morning, Clara had already decided that this encounter would not be forgotten. Their bravery, their honesty, and their determination had shaken the routine of her day and reminded her of the human element that often got lost in the pursuit of success. She watched them walk down the hall, their small hands still holding onto each other for comfort and support, and felt a renewed sense of purpose. Clara knew that this was only the beginning. The story of these twin girls and their mother would stay with her, shaping her actions in the days to come. She'd been reminded that real courage could come from the smallest and most unexpected places, and that sometimes the simplest gestures, like listening and understanding, could have a profound impact on someone's life. And for Clara Reynolds, the busy CEO, the arrival of these two young visitors had already started to change the way she saw the world around her. After the girls left, Clara sat at her desk, staring at the envelope and the letter inside. She read it again, slowly this time, taking in every detail. The story it told was simple but heartbreaking. Their mother had worked hard for years, sacrificing her own comfort and dreams to give her daughters a better life. Losing her job had been devastating, and now she was struggling to make ends meet. Clara could feel the fear and pride of the mother shining through each carefully written word. It was clear that the mother had trusted her daughters to deliver the message because she believed Clara could help. Clara leaned back in her chair and rubbed her temples. She was a woman who thrived on solutions and results, not on sentiment. But this letter demanded more than numbers and strategies. It demanded empathy, understanding, and action. She realized that this was a rare moment where her influence could change a life. It wasn't just about business. It was about humanity. She made a mental note to speak with her team quietly and start figuring out how she could help this family immediately. She called in her assistant, a young woman named Elena, who had worked with Clara for several years and knew how to navigate her boss's moods. Clara handed her the letter and explained the situation. Elena read it carefully, her eyes widening as she grasped the depth of the family's struggles. She looked at Clara, unsure of what the CEO wanted her to do. Clara smiled faintly, knowing that sometimes instructions didn't need to be complicated. "Find a way to help," she said. "Make sure it's discreet and it actually works." Elena nodded, understanding the weight of the task. Clara knew she wanted to avoid making this feel like charity. The mother deserved dignity and respect, not pity. She wanted the solution to empower her and her family, giving them stability and hope, not embarrassment. Meanwhile, Clara couldn't stop thinking about the twins. She remembered how carefully they had walked into her office, holding the envelopes with both hands. They had been nervous but determined. She imagined the courage it must have taken for two small children to step into the office of a powerful CEO. Most adults wouldn't have dared. Their bravery struck a chord with her, and she felt an unexpected warmth toward them. It was a reminder that courage wasn't measured in titles or age, but in actions. Clara decided to learn more about the mother before taking any steps. She wanted to understand her background, skills, and work experience. She asked Elena to discreetly check her records within the company and any public information that could provide insight. Within a few hours, they discovered that the mother had been a dedicated employee years ago, known for her diligence, intelligence, and integrity. Her performance had been excellent, but life circumstances had forced her to leave the company. Clara smiled slightly, feeling a connection with this woman she had never met. She could see why the mother had written to her, and why she had trusted her daughters to deliver the message. It was a leap of faith, and Clara admired it. She realized that life often demanded courage, and sometimes the smallest acts could make the biggest difference. By midday, Clara was ready to take the next step. She called the twins back into her office, asking them to bring their mother this time. The girls were overjoyed and quickly ran to fetch her. When the mother arrived, Clara stood up and greeted her warmly. She could see the tension in the woman's shoulders, the mixture of hope and fear in her eyes. Clara gestured for her to sit, and they began to talk. The mother explained her situation in detail. She talked about the job she had tried to keep, the long nights she had spent worrying about bills, and the fear of not being able to provide for her daughters. Clara listened carefully, nodding as she took in each word. She asked questions to better understand the mother's strengths and challenges, making notes in her mind about how she could help effectively. Clara realized that this wasn't just a matter of giving financial assistance. It was about creating an opportunity for a fresh start. As they talked, Clara noticed the twins sitting quietly, occasionally glancing at their mother with concern. She smiled at them, feeling a sense of admiration for their loyalty and love. They were small, but their presence reminded everyone in the room of the importance of family and courage. After a long conversation, Clara made her decision. She wanted to provide the mother with a position in her company, one that respected her skills and allowed her to support her family. She also decided to set up a small fund to help cover immediate needs, including the children's education, groceries, and other essentials. Clara knew that this approach would not only solve the immediate problem, but also empower the family to regain stability and confidence. The mother was speechless. She had expected nothing more than a kind word or perhaps a small donation. The reality of being offered a meaningful job and support for her children was overwhelming. Tears filled her eyes and she struggled to find words. The twins, seeing their mother's reaction, hugged her tightly, their joy evident. Clara watched the scene unfold, feeling a deep satisfaction that went beyond professional achievement. This was a moment where real impact had been made, and it was priceless. The office staff, who had begun to notice the unusual meeting, were also touched by the unfolding story. They saw their CEO not just as a business leader, but as a person with a heart. Clara's actions silently reminded them that success was not only about profits and growth, but also about compassion and humanity. The atmosphere in the office seemed lighter, more open, and more connected. In the days that followed, Clara worked quietly with her team to ensure the transition was smooth. The mother received training, guidance, and support to integrate into the company. Clara personally checked in, making sure she felt comfortable and capable in her new role. The twins visited occasionally, bringing little notes, drawings, and stories from school. Their laughter and curiosity brought a sense of warmth and light to Clara's office. a reminder of why she had made the choice to help. Clara often reflected on the events, realizing that this experience had changed her perspective. The courage of two young girls had reminded her of the importance of empathy and human connection. It had shown her that real leadership was not only about making tough decisions, but also about recognizing opportunities to make a positive difference in people's lives. She also noticed changes within her team. Inspired by Clara's actions, employees began to act with more empathy and understanding in their own roles. Small acts of kindness, attentive listening, and supportive gestures became more common. The office culture shifted subtly but noticeably, creating an environment where people felt valued and cared for. The mother thrived in her new role, slowly regaining confidence and stability. She was able to provide for her daughters, ensuring they had food, education, and comfort. The twins, once nervous and uncertain, grew happier and more confident, knowing that their mother's courage and their own small act had brought real change. Clara watched this transformation with a sense of fulfillment that no business success could match. Weeks later, Clara received a small package on her desk. It contained drawings, letters, and little tokens of appreciation from the twins. Each item was carefully crafted, reflecting their gratitude and affection. Clara smiled, placing the items on her shelf as a reminder of what had started with a simple envelope and two brave children. The story of the twin girls and their mother spread quietly within the company. It became a symbol of courage, determination, and the impact of empathy. Clara realized that this experience had taught her more about leadership and humanity than any board meeting or corporate strategy session ever could. She understood that real power lay in the ability to make a difference, to change lives, and to inspire others to do the same. Clara Reynolds spent the next few days reflecting on the events that had unfolded. She realized that while helping the mother and her daughters was a priority, it was equally important to do so thoughtfully and carefully. The last thing she wanted was to create a situation where anyone felt embarrassed or uncomfortable. Helping someone was not just about giving, it was about giving in a way that empowered them, respected their dignity, and offered real opportunity. With that in mind, she began planning her next steps. The twins' mother had already begun to adjust to her new job in the company. Clara had arranged for her to start in a role that suited her skills while allowing room for growth. The mother was naturally intelligent and hard-working, but the recent struggles had shaken her confidence. Clara knew that building confidence back up would take time, patience, and encouragement. She also understood the importance of including the twins in this process. Children often carried the weight of worry silently, and seeing their mother happy and secure would ripple into their own sense of stability. Clara decided to call the twins and their mother to the office for a meeting. Not about work, but about getting to know each other better. She wanted to understand them as people, beyond the letter, the envelopes, and the desperate plea for help. She had found that when people felt seen and valued, even small gestures could make a lasting impact. The twins walked into the office cautiously but confidently, holding hands and smiling shyly. Their mother followed closely behind, looking around nervously as if unsure what to expect. Clara invited them to sit comfortably, making sure the atmosphere felt relaxed rather than intimidating. She offered them juice and cookies, and the twins giggled as they accepted, the tension easing slightly. Clara smiled at the little victory. Sometimes it was the smallest things that could make a huge difference in comfort levels. She asked them about school, their favorite activities, and their dreams for the future. The twins shared stories of their school days, of friends, teachers, and little adventures. Their mother watched them with pride and relief, seeing how their faces brightened when they spoke. As they talked, Clara felt a sense of connection growing. This was not a typical business meeting. It was human, real, and heartfelt. She realized that the courage and determination that the twins had shown in walking into her office had revealed a family. With strong bonds, love, and resilience, that realization made her even more committed to helping them succeed. Clara also shared a little about her own life, the challenges she had faced, and the lessons she had learned. The mother and the twins listened intently, and the room filled with a sense of shared understanding and trust. After this informal meeting, Clara shifted her focus to practical matters. She had already arranged for the mother's position in the company, but she wanted to ensure that the work environment was supportive. She met with the human resources team to create a flexible schedule that allowed the mother to balance work, and family responsibilities. Clara emphasized the importance of treating this situation with respect and confidentiality, ensuring that the mother would feel secure in her new role without unnecessary attention. In addition to the job, Clara decided to provide additional support for the twins' education and daily needs. She set up a small fund to cover school supplies, tutoring, and any extracurricular activities they might want to pursue. Clara believed that opportunities for growth and learning were essential for children, especially in times of uncertainty. She wanted the twins to feel that their courage and honesty had not only been recognized, but rewarded in meaningful ways. Clara also spent time with the twins individually, encouraging them to express their feelings, fears, and hopes. She asked questions about their favorite subjects, hobbies, and aspirations. One of the twins loved painting, while the other had a fascination with science. Clara encouraged them to explore these interests and promised to help support their growth in any way she could. The girls' faces lit up with excitement, and Clara felt a sense of fulfillment in knowing she could make a real difference in their lives. During this period, Clara noticed changes within the office as well. Employees who observed her actions began to reflect on their own approach to work and relationships. They saw that leadership was not only about results but also about empathy, understanding, and human connection. Small acts of kindness started to appear in unexpected ways. Colleagues offering help to each other, sharing personal stories, and celebrating small victories. Clara's example created a ripple effect, gradually transforming the office culture into one where people felt seen, valued, and supported. The twins' mother, too, began to regain her confidence and sense of self-worth. She excelled in her new role, showing initiative and dedication that impressed Clara and her team. She became more comfortable asking questions, seeking guidance, and taking on new challenges. Clara made a point of providing positive reinforcement and acknowledging her achievements. She knew that rebuilding confidence was a process, and her support was a key part of that journey. Clara also organized small moments of joy for the family. She invited them to company events, introduced them to colleagues who could serve as mentors, and created opportunities for the twins to experience new environments and activities. The family began to thrive, not just because of financial stability, but because of the care, attention, and encouragement they received. Clara found herself looking forward to these moments, realizing that the connections she was building went beyond professional responsibility. They were deeply human and meaningful. Throughout this process, Clara reflected on the power of courage and honesty. The twins had walked into her office with nothing but determination and trust, and their actions had initiated a chain of events that changed lives. Clara realized that sometimes the smallest voices could have the largest impact, and that true leadership involved recognizing those moments and responding with compassion. She also noticed the twins growing more confident and expressive. Their school performance improved, and they developed new interests and friendships. Clara continued to encourage them, providing guidance and support while allowing them to make their own choices. She knew that fostering independence and self-belief was as important as providing material support. As weeks turned into months, the family's transformation became evident. The mother thrived in her role, the twins blossomed in their education and personal growth, and Clara found a renewed sense of purpose in her work. She had learned that true success was not measured only by profits or achievements, but by the positive impact one could have on others' lives. The experience also strengthened Clara's understanding of leadership. She realized that being a CEO was not just about managing a company, but about inspiring, supporting, and nurturing people. The courage of two small girls had reminded her of the importance of empathy, patience, and meaningful action. It had shown her that leadership required more than strategy. It required heart. Clara continued to stay in touch with the family, celebrating their milestones and supporting their ongoing growth. She watched as the twins gained confidence, pursued their passions, and developed a strong sense of self. Their mother became a valued member of the company, contributing not just through her work, but by inspiring others with her resilience and dedication. Through this journey, Clara understood that true change often starts with small acts of courage and honesty. The twins' visit had been a catalyst for transformation, touching not only their own lives but the lives of everyone around them. Clara felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that her actions had created a ripple effect of hope, opportunity, and inspiration. The weeks passed, and the mother settled comfortably into her new role at Clara's company. Clara watched with quiet satisfaction as the woman found her rhythm, gaining confidence and independence with every passing day. The mother was diligent, focused, and eager to learn, but more importantly, she approached her work with gratitude and heart. Clara admired the resilience she had shown in facing life's challenges and respected the way she balanced her professional responsibilities with her dedication to her children. The twins were thriving as well. Clara had taken a personal interest in their development, encouraging their passions and supporting their growth. The one who loved painting had started attending a small art class, and the other, fascinated by science, had been introduced to a local science club that allowed her to conduct simple experiments and explore her curiosity. Clara made it a point to celebrate their achievements, however small, and encouraged them to keep exploring their interests. Each smile, each gleam of excitement in their eyes reminded Clara of why she had chosen to help this family. One afternoon, Clara decided to surprise the family. She had spoken to her team about organizing a small gesture that could lift their spirits and show them how valued they were. She asked them to prepare a welcome basket filled with educational materials, books, art supplies, and small treats for the twins. She also included a handwritten note from herself, expressing her pride in their courage and determination. Clara believed that these small gestures, though simple, could make a meaningful impact on their morale and sense of belonging. When the family received the basket, their eyes widened in amazement. The twins bounced around excitedly, exploring each item, while the mother looked on with tears in her eyes. Clara had arranged for her to join the family later that day in a meeting where they could discuss their progress, hopes, and any challenges they faced. She wanted to make it clear that her support was not just a temporary gesture, but a long-term commitment to their well-being and growth. The meeting was filled with warmth and laughter. Clara asked the twins about their experiences with the art and science classes. They shared stories of new friends, experiments, and the joy of learning. Their mother spoke about how she was adjusting to her new role, the encouragement she had received, and the relief of feeling secure again. Clara listened attentively, offering advice, guidance, and words of encouragement. She wanted the family to know that she was invested in their success not just professionally, but personally as well. As they spoke, Clara realized the importance of creating a sense of community for the family. She introduced them to other employees who could mentor and guide them, fostering connections that would support their growth. Clara encouraged open communication, making it clear that the family could reach out to her or anyone in the company whenever they needed guidance or assistance. She understood that relationships, trust, and support were the foundation for lasting success and stability. One of the most remarkable aspects of this journey was witnessing the transformation in the twins. The fear and uncertainty that had once clouded their eyes were replaced by confidence and curiosity. They were no longer just the small children who had nervously delivered a letter to a CEO. They were young individuals full of potential and determination. Clara took great pride in seeing how their bravery had not only opened doors for their family, but had also shaped their own growth and self-belief. The mother, too, had transformed. She carried herself with renewed confidence, her posture straight and her voice steady. She had started to regain the self-assurance that life's struggles had momentarily taken from her. Clara admired her resilience and dedication, knowing that these qualities would serve her well in her career and in life. The mother often expressed her gratitude, not just for the job or support, but for the belief Clara had shown in her and her children. Clara continued to find ways to inspire and encourage the family. She organized small projects within the company where the mother could take the lead, providing opportunities to showcase her skills and leadership. The twins were invited to participate in educational workshops and events, allowing them to explore new interests and develop their talents. Each success, no matter how small, was celebrated, reinforcing the family's confidence and sense of accomplishment. During this time, Clara reflected on the profound impact that small acts of courage and honesty could have. The twins' decision to deliver the letter had initiated a chain of events that changed the lives of their entire family. Clara understood that leadership was not just about making decisions for profit or efficiency. It was about recognizing opportunities to make a real difference, responding with empathy, and nurturing growth. This experience reinforced her belief that true success was measured not just by financial gain, but by the positive impact one could have on others. The office began to notice the subtle changes as well. Employees were inspired by Clara's actions and began to approach their work and colleagues with greater empathy and understanding. Small acts of kindness became more common, and the workplace culture began to shift in a positive direction. Clara's example demonstrated that leadership could be both firm and compassionate, strategic and human-centered. The family's story also served as a powerful reminder of the importance of trust and integrity. The mother had trusted her daughters to deliver the letter, and they had trusted Clara to respond with care and understanding. Clara had recognized that trust and responded with actions that reinforced it. This mutual respect and reliance created a foundation of strength and stability that would support the family in the years to come. As the months went by, the family continued to thrive. The mother excelled in her role, taking on new responsibilities and contributing to the company's success. The twins flourished in their education and personal development, growing into confident, curious, and capable young individuals. Clara remained a steady presence, offering guidance, encouragement, and support whenever needed. Her commitment to their well-being and growth demonstrated that true leadership extended beyond the walls of the office and into the lives of those who had trusted her. Clara also learned valuable lessons from the family. She realized that courage, honesty, and determination were qualities that could inspire and drive change in ways that were often unexpected. The bravery of the twins had shown her that even the smallest actions could have profound consequences, and that empathy and understanding were powerful tools for creating positive outcomes. In the end, Clara found that the experience had enriched her life as much as it had transformed the lives of the family. She had witnessed firsthand the power of human connection, the importance of nurturing potential, and the lasting impact of acts of kindness. The journey of the twins and their mother was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of compassion, courage, and support. Through her actions, Clara had not only changed their lives but had also reinforced her own understanding of what it meant to lead with heart. Months had passed since the twins had first walked into Clara Reynolds' office, carrying the envelope that would change everything. By now, the family had settled into a new rhythm, one filled with hope, stability, and new opportunities. Clara often reflected on how a small act of courage had initiated such profound changes. She thought about the mother and her daughters, feeling a quiet sense of fulfillment, knowing her decisions had truly made a difference in their lives. The mother had become a strong, reliable part of Clara's team. She was respected by her colleagues and admired for her work ethic, intelligence, and positive attitude. She had regained confidence, and it showed in everything she did, from leading projects to mentoring new employees. Clara watched with pride as she took on responsibilities that challenged her, while growing professionally and personally. The mother's resilience was inspiring, and Clara often found herself thinking about the lessons she had learned from this family. The twins, meanwhile, were blossoming into confident, curious young girls. The one who loved painting was now attending regular art classes and participating in local exhibitions. Her talent and creativity had begun to shine, and Clara encouraged her to explore her passion freely. The other twins' fascination with science had grown into a deeper curiosity, and she had started working on small experiments and projects. Clara made it a point to celebrate their achievements, no matter how small, and encourage them to keep exploring and learning. Clara also ensured that the family's progress extended beyond professional and educational growth. She arranged small outings and experiences that allowed them to explore new places, meet new people, and learn life skills outside of work and school. These moments of joy helped strengthen the family bond and gave the twins a sense of normalcy and happiness they had not always experienced. Clara realized that providing these experiences was just as important as financial stability or professional support. Life was about moments of happiness, shared laughter, and learning from experiences. One day, Clara decided to organize a small celebration for the family within the company. She invited key team members and colleagues who had played a part in supporting them. The goal was to acknowledge the mother's hard work, the twins' courage, and the progress they had all made. Clara wanted this event to be more than just a celebration. It was a symbol of hope, resilience, and the power of taking initiative. The celebration was filled with warmth, laughter, and heartfelt speeches. The mother spoke about the journey she and her daughters had taken, expressing gratitude for the support and trust they had received. The twins shared their excitement about their new experiences, their growing confidence, and the dreams they now felt capable of pursuing. Clara listened, moved by their words, and felt a profound sense of accomplishment. She had not only helped a family in need but had witnessed their transformation firsthand. The office, too, had changed. Clara's actions had inspired a shift in company culture, encouraging employees to act with empathy, integrity, and consideration for one another. People began noticing small gestures of kindness more often, from helping a colleague with a task to offering support during challenging moments. Clara realized that leadership was about influence and example, and the story of this family had become a living testament to the impact of compassion and courage. Clara also maintained regular check-ins with the family, ensuring that they felt supported and understood. She encouraged the twins to share their dreams and challenges, offering guidance when needed but also allowing them to make their own decisions. The mother felt empowered in her professional role and confident in her ability to manage her family. Clara knew that her ongoing involvement was crucial to sustaining the progress they had made and to ensuring that their growth continued. As the family continued to thrive, Clara reflected on the ripple effect of one brave act. The twins had walked into her office with nothing but determination and trust, and their actions had sparked a series of events that improved not only their lives, but also the lives of those around them. Clara understood that courage and honesty, even from the youngest voices, could lead to extraordinary outcomes. She felt grateful to have been in a position to respond with empathy and meaningful support. The mother had grown into a role model for others in the company, demonstrating resilience, dedication, and grace under pressure. The twins were thriving academically and personally, gaining confidence, exploring their passions, and forming friendships. Clara continued to mentor and guide them, fostering growth and development in a way that was empowering and respectful. She understood that providing opportunity, encouragement, and support could shape lives in ways that were lasting and meaningful. Over time, Clara saw the family become more independent and self-reliant. The mother took on bigger projects and responsibilities, earning recognition and respect from her peers. The twins developed strong interests and skills, their confidence growing with every new experience. Clara remained a supportive presence, but she also allowed them the space to grow, make mistakes, and learn. She understood that true empowerment came from balance, guidance paired with independence. Clara's reflections on this journey also influenced her approach to leadership. She realized that leadership was not just about decision-making or business strategy. It was about understanding people, recognizing potential, and creating opportunities for growth and improvement. She understood the importance of compassion, empathy, and active listening, and she applied these lessons not just with the family but across her company. Her actions created an environment where employees felt valued, supported, and inspired. The family's journey continued to inspire everyone who knew their story. The twins' courage and honesty, the mother's resilience and dedication, and Clara's empathy and action had created a powerful narrative of hope and transformation. It was a story that reminded people of the importance of kindness, understanding, and taking action when someone needs help. It showed that small acts of bravery could lead to life-changing outcomes, and that compassionate leadership could create lasting, positive change. As the months turned into a year, Clara continued to stay in touch with the family, celebrating milestones, achievements, and